And we're live. Hello, guys.
What's up, gang?
Welcome to...
I think my chair needs some oil.
Oil.
What's up, Flip fam?
Welcome to How to Navigate the Outbreak. We've been...
Where's your mask at?
I'm in the house.
We should have came on with the mask.
But most people wear the wrong mask. It's been driving me crazy because it's like the worse that it's gotten, more people are wearing masks. So I have an initial question. This is requires participation. The question is, camera's here, by the way, if you...
A little sticker.
A little sticker. I heard a tip, and then we'll get to the initial question. If you have to be on like a webcam, and this is perfect because a lot of people are telecommuting, you know the little googly eyes that you get at a craft store? They say stick them onto your webcam so that way you remember where to look at the googly eyes.
They still make those?
Yeah.
Yeah, lipstick maker.
I do?
I'm not allowed to say that.
Sure. Take it off.
I didn't tell you that. See? There you go. Guys, this is live. Not produced, not directed.
Okay, so the question requiring participation is on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being nothing's shut down in my area, people are still out, I'm still going out, whether that's like to the beach or the bar or to stores or whatever. 1, like where are you at on a scale? So that's 1. 5 being I'm in full quarantine, I'm not leaving the house, I'm getting groceries delivered. I'm actually sick. My sister is sick right now, so she's pretty quarantined in LA.
My brother's injured.
Oh my god.
Says he has not. I asked him how many fingers does he have left. He said 9.7.
9.7. So did he actually cut his finger off, or did he just slice?
I don't know the details. Everybody's going through something.
Yeah, his brother had to go to the hospital. They wouldn't let his girlfriend in with him. He had to wait in the emergency room bleeding by himself. So it's still 1 to 5. 5 being fully quarantined. 1 being I'm like think it's overblown and I'm still going out. Let me know where you are. I would probably be embarrassed for you if you put 1. Just being honest.
You can't say that.
I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's a survey. Then.
I'm not expecting anyone to put 1. Maybe put 2. I don't know. Is there anywhere in the country that's like not shut down at all? Like
Florida. Florida's like Amy. Who else is in Florida? Who's all? Amy's in Florida.
No.
Tampa. Yeah, she is.
Oh, well, I'm looking at Amy Huffman. So Amy Huffman says she's a 3. Kelly says she's 4. Adrian says she's 3.
Tell everybody again because we have some new people who just.
So Amy Kinsey in Florida.
Amy's in Florida.
The beaches are still open.
Amy's Florida's like another world.
I know Australia's a little behind the curve too. Meaning like people are still out at their beaches, which to me is worse. There was a brother in my fraternity. I was part of a co-ed professional fraternity in college. Who went to Disney World a couple weeks ago and he passed away.
He died?
Yeah, he died. He was 34 from coronavirus.
You didn't tell me he died.
Yeah, he died.
Where does he live? Where do you live at?
California. But he went to Disney World.
How come I didn't hear about his story?
I showed you the news article.
You showed me a lot of news articles.
Okay. Adrian says she's still working. Are you telecommuting or you work? Oh, well, you're a notary, right? So you're going in person to sign documents? Mm. I'm guessing is what you mean. Amy says we're in the middle of moving. Congratulations, she's going to Cheyenne, Wyoming.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm jealous.
And she's only going to be an hour and a half from Denver. Oh. Like, I've heard they have the best bins in the country, so.
Very cool. Respect.
Our bins are still open. Okay. So we have a couple things going on in the background, but today we are doing this live stream. We're talking about how to navigate the outbreak. This is a Flippin' Freedom special Saturday strategy session, quarantine edition.
Breaking news.
Yes, still in person. Wow. Okay, so a lot of you guys know that we are big fans of reselling as a side hustle. So why don't you tell everyone why we're such big fans if they've been hiding under a rock?
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while. Again, this is a part-time business for us. This is a part-time project, Flippin' Freedom and the associated kind of offerings around it. But our background, if you're new to Flippin' Freedom and you don't know us, Jarrett and Hallie Bird, we live in just outside of Portland in the Pacific Northwest, and we are guess, part-time resellers who like to make a full-time income.
You see I'm repping my PNW stuff
Are you
today.
sure? All right, look at you.
See? PNW. What does that say? Pacific Northwest, Columbia.
Look at you. I picked that out for you.
You did.
That's
and
a used item.
We got it new with tags at the bins.
Yeah, oh wow. This is used too, by the way. I bought this used.
Carhartt.
This is used. Pre-owned, we should say.
Yeah,
Pre-loved.
yeah.
So anywho, guys, the concept is we came across reselling as a hobby initially. It turned into a side hustle once we saw the potential of it. But from the beginning, for us, we always wanted something we could get full-time results on a part-time basis. And I always like to say, in a business that can fit in a little box, right? So we try to keep this business very manageable, very part-time, spare time for us. So to this day, we probably spend about 20 hours a week in it, plus or minus, of course, it goes week to week. And we try to fit it in and around our life, our other businesses. And we've been pretty happy with the results. It's allowed us to relocate, kind of like Amy Huffman is doing right now, to another part of the country, to a place we've been looking to move for a long time. It allows us to stay at home and work from home. So even with this self-quarantine and this virus, I think you're shaking the camera, what you're typing.
Oh, sorry.
Even with this self-quarantine and a lot of things shutting down, it hasn't affected us as much because we're used to working from home because of the flexibility that reselling allows. So
including our other businesses.
Including our other businesses. So one thing I always talk about and teach to people, and maybe this is news for you, maybe it isn't, but I always teach people what I learned is start with the end in mind. So if your end result is to have a business or a way of making money that gives you some level of flexibility, some level of freedom, some ability to move like Amy's doing right now, to maybe not be so tied down, or maybe you love being tied down, whatever it is, start with the end in mind. So for us, we knew we loved flexibility. We knew we wanted to be somewhat location independent. And we knew we loved working from home and working together. So again, reselling for us has been a big time blessing. And even with this kind of new way of the world, with this outbreak and with the quarantines and so many things being kind of affected, I couldn't think of a business. I couldn't think of another business that we could have. How am I trying to say this? This business is affected as little as I could imagine almost any other business being affected, if that makes sense. One of our other businesses, for example, we have a rental car business. We have a couple cars that we rent out to people who come into the Portland area and do sightseeing. Well, guess what? Guess what's guess what's shut down completely right now? Sightseeing, touring, traveling, So our rental car business has literally hit the skids because of this, and nobody saw this coming a month ago, right? Or at least no one in our country, pretty much. But reselling, again, everything is going to take a hit. Don't get it twisted. But reselling from an actual lifestyle standpoint, from a change standpoint, I couldn't ask for a better business that has been affected as little. I don't know if that's making sense, but hopefully you guys get the point.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk also about some of the recent sales we made because things are changing. A lot of people their work situation is changing. So,
and just on that note, again, we know a lot of people are going through some stuff right now. So if you are one of the people who, your job has been affected, cut back hours, maybe, laid off, whatever the case may be, we definitely feel for you. We know how it is. There's a lot of people going through a lot of changes because of the way they made money, because of their career, their hustle, whatever it is. So if you're going through something like that, we can totally empathize with you. And part of the reason for Hallie and I doing this today was to give you some things to think about, maybe to kind of get your reselling business going, where it can kind of offset some of the strain, financial strain that you may be experiencing right now because of this outbreak. And
so I think the first thing that we want to tell people is people are still spending money online. If anything, we have sales going on throughout the day because people are home and they're bored and they're online shopping. And especially as we're moving out of this time of panic buying, I think the panic buying is starting to subside. A lot of places are still out of stock if you go to the grocery store, but for instance, the people who went out and bought 2 cartfuls of toilet paper, yes, I saw those photos. They're not buying any more toilet paper. Like, they're good probably for the next 10 years. I saw a meme that said, in 2050, you know, like someone went to the closet and pulled out the last thing of toilet paper, and it says, I guess this is the last roll of toilet paper from the 2020 quarantine. So
Put
I think
expiration date on it.
I think that the panic buying is starting to subside, and then a lot of people are going to be telecommuting. They're still getting paid. Not everyone is in like dire financial straits. I know that majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Most people don't have $400 set aside for an emergency, such as one we're in. But that being said, a lot of people are still getting paid, which means they're still going to spend money.
And one thing too, one thing we've learned, and one of the reasons we kind of structure our businesses like this is because the money is always in circulation. It just gets redirected.
That's a perfect point.
Right? So people are always spending money, whether out of want, out of need, or right now a lot of fear buying. But either way, money is always being spent. You just have to ask yourself, how well am I positioned to get money as it's being redirected? So again, one thing we try, and we're strictly talking about our reselling business right here, but just across the board, one thing we've, starting with the end in mind again, right? We try to set ourselves up where we make money whether the economy is booming.
Yep.
We try to make money whether the recession is coming, because it's only a matter of time, guys, before a recession hits. We try to set ourselves up for people who are buying out of need, who are spending money out of want, out of what is it called? Discretionary spending. So again, that's one of the things that we want you to be thinking about too as we go through this this live training. Are you positioned to make money as it's being redirected?
Right. So we're gonna hop into the thing. Oh, before I do that, I wanted to tell you guys. So initial value coming out of the gate. Some of the things that have been selling for us, so that you can either, if you're still sourcing, we're going to talk towards the end about the best ways that you can be sourcing. We're going to give you some wholesale sites that you can use. We compiled a really good list of stuff that you can source right now, regardless of your situation. So for instance, some of our students live in Pennsylvania, and they have shut down all businesses outside of like the banks, I think, pharmacies and grocery stores. So none of their
non-essential.
Yeah. So that none of their thrift stores and Goodwills are open. Whereas for us, even though we're in the second worst affected state, there's a lot of stuff that's still open. Pretty much only restaurants and bars and like nail salon, touch services are closed.
Right. But things are things are very fluid, right? So something could be closed today that was open earlier. So again, this is a really interesting time. For those of us who are opportunity minded, it's exciting. For those of us who maybe aren't as much, it can be very intimidating and humbling. So again, we're with you. We want you to think more along the lines of being opportunity minded, especially with this business.
So I was going to highlight some of the sales and things.
And just real quick, as you talk about sales, one of the things I don't know if I did a great job earlier, but I want you guys to understand the fact that money is being spent. And one of the things, the trends, we've kind of started to identify some interesting trends, the way people are spending their money. Now that we're in the house, right? Now a lot of us are in the house. We're not going out. We're not at bars or parties or stuff like that. People are bored, right? There's a thing like stir crazy, and people are looking to buy things that they maybe wouldn't buy or maybe put off. So what have we done lately?
Okay, so some of the things we sold recently would be like Maeve Anthropology dress. That sold for $24. That was last night. I sold an Eileen Fisher tank top. Hi, Mama Lita. I sold an Anthropology Eileen Fisher tank top that I've had forever. I marked it way down and then sent an offer on top of it. That sold for $25.50. Another Anthropology dress, Dolan, that sold for about $18. A vintage Girl Scout sweater. You see how clothing is still selling? So even though you would think, well, people aren't out and about, they're not going to do things, maybe clothes would slow down, it's slightly slower, but things are still moving, and I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. And also, we're lifting off a lot in terms of like holding out for different pricing. Hi, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
Hats have been selling really well.
Yeah, I want to talk about hats as part of the lesson, but guys, you guys who know me and rock out with us in the RUB Society and 0 to 60, hats are a big a big boom for us. So a hat sell.
Athletic wear, we sold Nike leggings, Columbia leggings. I sold a Betsy Johnson sports bra. So like athletic wear, and then also professional wear. So like we've sold button ups, we sold sports coats. Recently, that sport coat was sold for $59. What else? More outdoor stuff. And then another point is, how would you describe this? Like,
it's a well, again, people are in the house, right? So what do you do when you're in the house? Like even with us, like we've been coming up with new things to keep us busy and entertained because we're in the house, right? So whereas we used to go out maybe to go for a run with our group, well, that now we either do it locally or we do something else. So one of the things Hallie started doing this past week, we picked up Game of Thrones for the third time, right, from season 1. But the point was one of our coolest sales from this past week was we sold the Xbox Kinect motion camera. I'm not a gamer, but apparently you plug this thing in. I got it from a storage auction from almost 2 years ago, and it sold for $134. Because again, people are home now. One of the things they're looking for is ways to be entertained. So that's an interesting trend that we've noticed.
Yeah, so video games, but also even more so like video game equipment. Like that's because a lot of video games today are downloaded. Like you download them right to your device. What are those things called? The video game console or whatever. But some people have older systems, so if you have video games, you could sell them.
You were right.
Okay.
Ouch.
So video games, video game equipment, things that are in the house. If you have schooling supplies, we talked about all this on our REV Society Q&A last week. We came up with a whole list. Go slightly left, like in between where it was. Is this too dark, guys, or can you rock out with this?
Let us know if you can see us.
Hey guys, working from home, just popped in. Hope you're well. Yes,
we are. A long time no see. Thanks for checking in with us.
Yeah, so we're still selling a lot of clothes. Bathing suits, trunks, professional wear, athletic wear.
And again, remember, think about it. A lot of people who are used to going out spending money, even if it was just commuting, right? You're spending money on gas and stuff like that. Money is always being spent. It's just redirected. So again, there's some interesting things that we've been noticing in the last couple of weeks is how things that have been sitting are magically selling stuff that I forgot I had, right? Like the Xbox device. So again, one of the things we're going to talk about during this live is kind of while you are home with the family, having another closet/basement garage challenge. So you probably have stuff like that Xbox. I'm sorry, I don't know the name. Just bear with me. But I'm sure you have stuff like that.
You don't have to be an expert in what you're selling.
You don't have to be an expert, guys. But I'm sure you have stuff like that laying around the house that, yes, you can sell and make money for. So make money with.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you can juggle. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm getting something ready. Okay, so let's talk about.
Thanks, Jackie.
Winning in a highly fluid selling environment.
Oh, and while you guys are watching, and I know we have a bunch of people watching. Thank you so much. Let us know in the comments what are some things that you've sold maybe in the last 2 weeks, or what are some trends that you're noticing. Again, this is a community thing, so we want to hear from you as much as hopefully you guys want to hear from us. So again, what are some interesting items that you sold in the last 2 weeks? What are some trends that you think are emerging or maybe caught your attention?
Right.
We can all learn from each other here. In the flip bam.
Okay, so can we talk about winning in a highly fluid environment? So as Jared already mentioned, things are changing a lot, like almost on a daily basis. New information's coming out, new guidelines, new closures. So one of the things that we will always stress, and it's not like this. Maybe you can
it's real dark. I know Jackie says I'm fine, but let's see.
It's not like this super sexy thing, but it's.
How's that?
No, this is awful. Keep going. A little bit more.
Oh, stop.
That's
cool.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. You look brighter, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The sun infected me. Is going back to the basics. There is this saying that we learned a long time ago in business. If you stick to the basics, you never have to go back. And I
know you 0 to 60 students know it well, but it's so true. Pretty much in any arena, any category in life, if you stick to the basics, you never have to go back. One of the things that I'm struggling with right now, we're struggling with, is we got lazy. Like we started the year off good. We went running literally. We went running at midnight on New Year's Eve, right? Or New Year's. When the clock struck midnight, we went running the next day. You know, so we got off to a good start, and then life got in the way. We got lazy, discipline, consistency, commitment, all of those things that affect most of us. So now, like pretty much all of February, there was no running, and then mostly in March. So now getting back into it is so hard if we stuck to the basics, even if it was just a short run for us, things would have been so much easier. Now getting back up on that horse is so hard. So we want you guys in the reselling capacity, we want you to stick to the basics because it's hard to go back. So if you just stick to those, when we say the basics, what do you mean?
So that would be like whatever your DMO is. So if you can list, we're going to talk about how you can get some inventory. But if you have, we're changing the way that we say death pile to money pile. So if you have a money pile sitting around, like we do, we have like B, C, Jared calls them DEF, DEF stock, stuff that we source, and we're like, why do we source this? And we, it wasn't that great when we got home, so we put it to the side and it kind of builds up. Yeah,
if you guys are used to buying by weight at the bins, a lot of times you'll grab stuff either to make weight or just because it doesn't weigh much of anything and you're like, what the hell? But again, we have like a C and D list pile. So again, this is a great time now to go through all of those. If it's worth listing, if it can pick you up $15, $20+ great. If it can't, we actually have a bag now that we put stuff in and we take back to the Goodwill to drop it off. So again, that also, we want to say when one thing fails, this is a great time to learn a skill of picking up something else, picking up a new strategy, picking up a new skill, picking up a new source, things like that. You don't want to be so rigid because again, we're in a time that's so fluid, so dynamic that you have to be kind of fluid and dynamic with it, right?
Right.
So what I mean by like when one thing fails, pick another up. Do you have any specifics?
Yeah. So for instance, and this goes to minding your business. There's a lesson on that in 0 to 60, but you should constantly be reviewing your sales on a monthly basis to see what sold in the last month, or in this case, like since the outbreak. So when did this become serious? So for us, I remember very specifically the first death in the entire United States was in our state, Washington. That was weekday, so February 29th. So let's say from March 1st, or even from February 29th, because I know in my mind that's like when things were getting more real. So what is that? The past like 3 weeks or so? What have you sold? That's when coronavirus was starting to be in the news. That's when things really started jumping off. So like go back through the last 3 weeks. What have you sold? And then what I want you to do is, let's say it's dresses, like we've been selling dresses for some reason, and sports coats. So like we're going to go through all of our sport coats. We're going to go through our men's like dress shirts. Probably because people are dressing from the waist up because they have to be on video conference to do their job. That would be my guess. Athletic wear, all of our non-clothing items, like the Connect system that we sold, we're going to go through. We're going to reevaluate those listings. Are there more details we can add? Do we need to rework the title? Can we make our pricing more aggressive? If you can afford to bring your price down, if you were holding out for $200 for something, it might be worth it to drop that price down. Not just run a sale on it, but actually drop the price, especially if it has watches on it. And then also to convert that sale, because cash is really king.
Cash is king right now. Also, regarding making offers, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the things I've been doing a lot lately. Does everybody have access to that?
Yeah. Okay,
so again, a lot of times you'll see a feature if we're talking about eBay right now. We'll address the other platforms in a second. But on eBay, it gives you the ability now to make offers to anyone who's watching or maybe has your item in a cart. So I've been going, we literally twice a day now, we'll go through every single item that we can, and I'll make an offer, and then I'll put a short message that says something like 24-hour blowout, be the first to take advantage. Mm-hmm. 24-hour blowout, be the first to take advantage. Guys, I'm honestly pleasantly surprised and shocked with how many items I sell like that. And like Hallie says, I had to take her medicine and be more open and flexible and willing to sell things for less to move it out of here. Because again, it has more value in the form of cash than it does sitting in a storage bin in our house. Right. So hopefully you guys can agree with that. But be more flexible, be more open to offers. Again, if you're buying things the way we teach, chances are you didn't spend a whole lot of money on it, right? 50 cents, $1, maybe $5 if it's really worth something, at least the way we teach reselling. So if you have the opportunity to double that or to triple it, or, you know, our average sale price is still probably around $25, right? So, I mean, based off of stuff that we average for less than $1, that's an unbelievable return on investment. So be open, utilize that offer feature as much as you can and as often as you can.
Right. So that is, we're still on winning in a highly fluid environment, right?
Yes.
So then what activities should you be focusing on every day? At a bare minimum, listing your money pile, running sales, sending offers, and then the big one, which we've spent a lot of time talking about, is reassessing your business. Go on.
One of the other things, and again, we have you because certain aspects of your business has changed because of this quarantine and things being shut down. Mm-hmm. You're going to have more time. Like with us, we normally would be sourcing either now on a Saturday or typically on a Sunday morning.
Right.
Because we're kind of shying away from that, putting ourselves in that environment. We have more time now. So again, addressing those C and D money piles. This is something I grabbed out of the laundry room, because you guys know I love my hats, right? I love hats, and I have a literal drawer full of hats that I bought in the laundry room that's waiting for me to either throw in the washing machine, or typically I found a really cool technique to hand wash hats like this, and they come out unbelievable. The downside is it takes time. I don't always feel like doing it, but now I have I don't know if you guys can see, I have a box like this, which is full of hats. And some of these hats are worth some money. So just bear with me here so you can kind of see where I'm going with this when we're talking about stuff like that. So I have a Dutch Brothers, which is a big coffee company hat. People are crazy about Dutch Brothers. It has some soiling on it, as you can see here. Nothing terminal, but something that would need me to get the hat wet and kind of hand clean it with a brush or a microfiber or something like that. Once it's done, it's done. Now, I haven't gotten to these yet, but I just wanted to give you guys some ideas of some things that I know I've been putting off, right? And now you have the time and ample opportunity to go kind of double back around and address some of them things. Some of the other, again, this is just hats, but I have I don't know, have you ever seen this? This is from Space Jam, which is Michael Jordan. This is a Jordan hat, Space Jam.
Are you going to watch that movie with me?
Probably not.
I think they put it on Netflix.
And it says, what does it say? Kind of one-sided, isn't it? So this hat is actually worth some dough.
And aren't they making
there's a Space Jam 2 with LeBron James.
Did they already come out with that?
No, they finished shooting it. So I even have this. This hat is actually worth some cash. This is a Miller High Life military hat. Have you seen this one?
No.
Oh, this
like
is dope.
that.
It has a pocket inside.
What?
Yeah, this is dope.
And what does that print on the inside?
It says KEG Security. KEG Security.
All sorts of things.
Miller High Life. So again,
it's almost like, why would they print that on the inside? Like you think
details, baby.
Be
so I mean, honestly, the average hat in this box, I wouldn't sell for less than $30. Probably upwards of $50. You may not believe me, but Hallie will tell you, right? So again, but these hats honestly have been sitting in our laundry room for, in some cases, months, if not a year. I take full responsibility. Again, we're not expecting anybody to be perfect, but we want you to get better. And again, Snap-on, really high-end tools. So again, I have just a lot of hats that either I haven't listed, or maybe even some that I listed, but I needed. So again, I have time now. So what I do, I'm going on a tangent with it, but I'll set a goal to every day. You know, while I'm in front of the either washing dishes or in the laundry room, I may try to bang out 5 hats. So I'll clean them up, sell them. I just sold a Harley hat, actually, that I did that with. I cleaned it finally, and it sold. So those are some of the other kind of activities you guys could be doing.
What'd you end up selling that hat for? Do you know?
Which one?
The Harley hat.
Let
me see if I see it here. Oh, I hear it. $29.
$29.
I think you sent an offer on it. That's why.
Okay. So again, just giving you guys some ideas, some things that you may have been overlooking or maybe been putting off, but this is a great time now that we're kind of, now we have the time and we're in the house to do it.
Another good thing, example of that, like if you guys want more intimate like coaching and advice and like stuff directly for your business, one of the things we were talking with Amy in Florida about was now that Tom Brady signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
If you're into football.
Which is where she lives. She has all this Buccaneers gear. Is that how you say Buccaneers?
Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That sounds funny.
Buccaneer gear.
That has been like flying off the shelves, and because now the value of her, which was already her unfair advantage, but the value of that unfair advantage has been increased with Tom Brady going there. So if you live in Florida and you find a lot of Buccaneers gear, like we've never found that in our years of reselling. We've never found Tampa Bay gear.
Okay.
Not that I remember, but I trust you.
But now I'm gonna go see if I have any other stuff.
Yeah. Hi, Ann. Hi, Arnika.
Hey guys.
So the next thing you can do is you want to get your family involved. So if you went through our Flip and Freedom Challenge, the 5-day challenge, you know we talk about getting your family on board very early, doing a dream board of things that you would want to do. So that's another thing you could be doing with your family is do a dream board of like what this business can produce for you. Maybe once you're out of quarantine. So like you're going to set aside all the money that you make for reselling while you're in social distancing, quarantine, whatever you guys are doing, while this virus is going on and until it's cured, however long that'll be. And
it's a great opportunity to either engage or re-engage your family members.
Right.
One of the things we talk about in the course is early on when you're just making a decision to go serious with reselling, you want to get people in your household, your significant other, to buy in because it just makes it that much easier when you guys are on the same page. If you hadn't done that, or maybe they, whatever, they fell off, or this is a great time now that you're all in the same kind of confines, is to kind of get them back re-engaged. Hey, is there anything that you don't have that you would mind, if I listed and maybe we could split it, or, maybe I can, so it's just some really cool ways to get more buy-in and re-engagement from people in your household, especially if you have kids, right? There's a lot of boredom. It's funny, I've never seen so many people out walking as I have in the last week. So if you have kids at home, they're bored, this is a great time to bring them into your business, kind of make it a family affair, and I think it'll help everybody kind of, what do they say? Idle hands is the devil's, what do they say? Basically, to not be bored, to be productive is what I'm trying to say.
I'm the worst at remembering any sort of
sure.
idioms or anything like that.
What's next?
So, yeah, I think that getting your family involved is also really cool because in such an uncertain time where, like, everything is changing and, that can be really difficult for kids to process, having, like, kind of a unified front, like, we're going to build this business while we're stuck in the house together, creates a really, like, unified purpose for your family. And I think that's something that people can use as some sort of like leadership and vision when things are tough and uncertain.
Going back to activities to focus on daily or to start doing daily, if you don't mind leaning over, or maybe the other way, I don't know if you can see it, but right now, one of the other things that we've been doing, again, getting back to the basics, is going through old shipping items, cleaning up our office, our operations, our inventory, right? Like there's a lot of areas, at least in our business, that can use tightening up. And now that we're not out and about sourcing, we have the time and ability to do that. So again, look at your business. What are some areas that you could improve? And again, don't just watch us, go ahead and participate. What are some areas in your business? Go ahead and put in the comments that you wouldn't mind improving. Is it your inventory? Is it your shipping methods? Is it how you store things in your office or wherever you do business at in your home? Is it your receipt keeping abilities? Again, we're big on those tax write-offs, right? So how are you keeping and documenting the money you spend? So there's probably some areas in your business that you can kind of drill down on and improve during this time.
So that brings us to thriving through uncertainty. So one of the biggest reasons that we're so excited and why we're showing up, because we've spent about the last week since we've been like really strict on our social distancing. I guess we're not quarantined fully because we are still going to the grocery store, although I'm reevaluating that. We might start getting grocery deliveries. He doesn't want to. The only thing is, I was listening to someone and they said they ordered like $200 worth of groceries on Instacart and like only like 5 things showed up because they're so out. So I'd rather be there and be able to get creative with their meals. But that's another topic. But having a second income right now for a lot of families would ease stress. So we've been thinking a lot about how can we show up and help people, how can we serve you guys, how can we make it easier for you through this time. And that's why we wanted to do this live stream, because having that second income is a big ease when it comes to stress.
Right. It can be literally life changing. So a lot of us are waiting on the government to come in and bail out regular people for a change and give whether it's $1,000 or $1,200 or $2,000. A lot of people are like waiting on it. But again, what's great about reselling, if you take it seriously, and we always say this can be like your own ATM machine. So literally, while we've been sitting on this live with you guys, we've made a sale, we've gotten paid, and it's just a great place to be in, where even in a crazy time like this, you still have enough items in your store, inventory-wise, where people are paying you to take it off your hands.
Right. The next thing that can be really helpful to help you thrive through this time is starting a new project within your reselling business. So we have two examples. The first could be starting a social media account, like an Instagram, for your store, and using your Instagram stories and your posts to put up the items that are in your store. And then you can also, you don't have to direct them back to eBay or Mercari or Poshmark. You can set it up where you're accepting payments through PayPal, which reduces your fees and increases your profit in an uncertain time. And you can focus on building out your social media. And I just had this idea. So this week on the Q&A for RUB Society, I'm going to do a training on how to grow your Instagram following for your store, how to post things, how to set it up so you can take payments, all through Instagram. So we're going to do an Instagram store training.
What about TikTok? Are you going to teach us about TikTok?
Maybe I'll think about it.
So again, so you guys want to be on those RUB Velvet Room chats, because they're super valuable.
Yeah. The other thing you can do is cross-posting. So I trialed.
Wait, what is cross-posting? Because we have a lot of new people here,
okay, right?
So
go ahead.
No, you go. Talk to me like I'm a third grader.
So cross-posting, dear, is where you would, like, if you think about like a cross-pollination, that's too complicated. Stop. You have a listing on eBay and it gets cross-posted onto another selling platform. So it'll be simultaneously listed on eBay and Mercari and Poshmark, Grailed, Etsy. It can be listed. It's listed in multiple places simultaneously.
So you have one item, like my rare, unique, valuable Boy Scouts Carhartt shirt. I don't know if you can see it.
Hey, Brian.
Where's Brian? Hey, Brian. The sun's blinding me again. So again, you have a cool item, or it doesn't have to be cool. You have an item, instead of just having it for sale in one place where you have one set of eyes on it, right? People who are maybe have an eBay account. Right. Well, obviously there's at this stage, and because reselling is becoming such a major business, there's other companies that have built their own platform to get some of the money that eBay's been gobbling up for the last 20 years.
And they all have their own culture. So some people who have never had an eBay account, don't like eBay, or like have their own perceptions about it, might be on Poshmark. And same thing with Mercari. Mercari runs ads. I actually got served a Mercari YouTube ad since I was, I guess, more on the site. I was on the desktop site last night, and I'll talk about that a little bit, but normally I'm on the app, and I guess maybe because it tracks cookies differently through your desktop. Anyway, so I got a YouTube ad about it. I've been putting a heavy focus on cross-posting to Poshmark, yeah.
Yep. So the whole point is we have the ability to be in multiple places at one time, which is really cool in business.
And it's also really important because if you think about it, let's say you have a 15 or 20% sell-through rate on eBay, but then you have a 10% sell-through rate on Mercari and a 10% sell-through rate, and those are like really low to average. It depends on your store, but just being really conservative. So let's say 15% on eBay, 10% on Poshmark, 10% on Mercari.
What's the sell-through?
eBay. So that's the amount of items that you sell through in a given month. So you have 100 items listed, 10% sell-through rate. You're making this really difficult to get through.
I know we have a lot of new people since the last time we've done this, so I want to be respectful, and
we had 5 new people join the group today.
Helpful to everybody, whether they're vets or pros or they're just getting started.
Your heart is in the right place. I'm just trying to get through this without it being like a 2-hour live.
That's true. I'll stop. If you have questions, guys, pop them in the comments. Feel free to message us But again, this is interactive, so.
Don't message us for questions because your question might be the same question as someone else, and we would rather it be in the group so everyone could see it.
Yes. So cross-posting.
Unless it's like private information, then you can. But anyway, so cross-posting. So if you have those, instead of just selling through 15% of your inventory in 1 month because you only list on eBay, if you're on those 3 sites, and you know there will be some where like that's another story. We'll talk about that later. But that means that you upped your sell-through rate from 15% to 35%, 15, 10, and 10. Mm-hmm. So now instead of selling through just 15% of your inventory, you're now selling through 35% of that same inventory every month, which makes you more profitable. And there's a very fast way to do it.
Yeah, that sounds complicated though.
No. Well, it used to be.
Okay.
So you used to have to manually either do it at the time of listing, and you know take those pictures, which have to be square formatted, 1:1 ratio for Android users, and you would just copy the information over manually, which takes a lot of time and effort. But there have, in the past year or so, there have been, actually I think less than a year that either of these platforms have been out, cross-posting software, which is worth paying for. We prefer List Perfectly. I've used Vendu, used List Perfectly. I've trialed them. Just last night, I was able to cross-list 50 items while we were watching Game of Thrones, and one of those items sold within a few hours. It was actually, going back to the closet clear out that Jarrett mentioned, it was actually an item that was in my closet, sold for $30, and Mercari fees are 10%, so we get $27 minus the $4 it costs to ship it, so $23 profit from something that was in my closet,
right?
Sold within hours, like 2 or 3 hours.
And I was a little skeptical because, again, those of you guys who've been with us for a while, you know that, again, we when I say this is a full-time income on a part-time basis, we're not BSing. So we normally steer away from complications or things that take a lot of time. So I was skeptical when Hallie said, well, look, there's a way we could be listing stuff on multiple platforms. And I'm like, that sounds great, but there's always an expense, right? Mm-hmm. Time, headache, effort, money. And with this new thing, I was blown away because literally we're sitting there, I'm watching Game of Thrones, she's watching it and saying, oh, I just cross-listed 20 items, now 40, now 50. And lo and behold, before we got up from watching whatever episode we were on, she said, oh man, something just sold on one of the brand new platforms. So I'm a believer, and I'm looking forward to, again, being in more places at once. Like, why not, if it doesn't come at the terrible expense of too much time or energy or thought.
Right. I just dropped a comment in, and let me see if I can pin it so it stays at the top. Yeah, there we go. So I just dropped a comment in with our affiliate link if you want to test it. There's also a coupon code that I offered you guys. It's 30% off your first month, so you can sign up for a 3-day trial. Personally, and it only lets you list, it's 3 days or 20 items, but I can promise you once you do like 20 items, you're going to be convinced. So it probably would make more sense, instead of using the trial, sign up with the 30% off, so then your first month is like $20.30 or something. So perfect example, in that one night, cross-posting 50 items. Last night. The first month is $20. That one sale netted us $23. So it paid for itself in one night, let alone what you're going to be able to do over the course of 30 days. So you can do a trial. The only reason I would not encourage you to do that is take advantage of the 30% off. It's $20. You can ask for a refund in your first month if you don't cross-list that full 20. But again, once you do it, you'll love it. You'll want to cross-post everything. And you can do multiple platforms. So we can also do a training on how List Perfectly works, if that's something that you guys want. But yeah, so I just dropped our affiliate link and the coupon code that you can use to get 30% off your first month.
That's awesome. So again, guys, going back to, we're in challenging times. Everything is up in the air. We have to be, as business owners and resellers, we have to be as flexible, as open, and as opportunity-minded as the time calls for, to not only survive. We don't want to just survive. We want to thrive, right? Even as crazy as things are, I want my average sale price to go up. I want our sales to increase. And again, I think those of us who are thinking along the right way, that's a lot more possible than those of us who are thinking from a position of lack or fear.
Mm-hmm. So the last topic that we promised you guys was some unique sourcing / flipping opportunities.
Here.
I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm just getting comfortable.
Oh. I just saw your face like all twisted, like out of the corner of my eye. What's going on? So this is probably going to help you guys the most in this time. We have a few other resources that we're going to be adding to 0 to 60 specifically within the course to kind of help you guys out with sourcing through this time. So I'm going to be adding to the sourcing module tomorrow. Those will go up. So unique sourcing and flipping opportunities. So at this point, everywhere in the country has different rules, regulations, different shutdowns going on. So it's really up to you, to your risk tolerance, and, you know, honestly, like what's available in your area. Like we said, our students in Pennsylvania, all retail stores are shut down. So they don't have the option to go out and source. We still do. We've been, for the most part, choosing not to. We haven't gone sourcing in more than 2 weeks, right?
Right. And again, our situation is it could be a little bit different from yours. We've been at this thing for 3 years. We've put a lot of work and time in on building up an inventory. So we now have multiple stores with, you know, several thousand items. So again, we have the luxury, not that we like not listing, but we have the luxury of not listing and things still sell every day. Yeah. So if you're not there yet, again, I totally get it. Don't be upset about it. It just is what it is. But again, be flexible enough to pivot. One of the things we did this past week, we went to a storage auction. Again, I've talked about that before. We dabble in it. Matter of fact, that Xbox connecting was bought off a storage auction. A Harley Davidson helmet that we just sold for $230 was bought out of a storage auction as well. Yeah. So we went to this auction looking for some other ways, you know, outside of the bins to find sourcing. I didn't end up buying any storage units at this outing. But again, these are just some things that you may or may not have access to. So kind of take inventory of your options. Everything okay?
Yeah. Michael was just saying he made sick.
That's our RUV society. Lighten up.
Yeah, they're sharing the sales that they're making. We kind of have a little mastermind going on, you know, what's selling and what you can be sourcing, even more than what we're going to share with you. So we did the storage auction this week, but here are some suggestions. We have your closet / home.
Yes.
So we're expanding it outside of the closet too, because like we said, if that Xbox Connect thing sold for $134, that helmet sold for
$230.
Well, actually, after we got shipping, which we picked up a little bit on shipping, they actually paid $260 in total. It was a really cool helmet. It was like a checkered flag. Did you say what it looked like? It's like a checkered flag style, like
it's like a half motorcycle helmet.
Like
you see what the Harley guys wearing. So again,
yeah, it was really cool.
It was in a storage auction, storage unit that we bought for $50. So not a bad deal. Matter of fact, the Xbox, I'm pretty sure came out of that storage unit too.
That's why we went. So again, going outsourcing is up to you, your risk tolerance, and what's available to you in your area. Things that don't require you to, I won't say all of them don't require you to leave the house, but minimal, or, you know, no matter what quarantine shutdown situation your state or city is in, you'll be able to do these things. So your closet at home is the first, looking for things, again, workout attire, professional attire, home office things, things that are going to help people who are schooling their children at home. Could be a whiteboard, stuff like that. And then
old books or materials from your kids, or
right.
I mean, that stuff still has value and sells.
Gaming stuff. So that's one. What's the next one? The next sourcing opportunity.
Facebook Marketplace. We have seen some really good opportunities, some really compelling from our students, as well as things locally that, you know, again, we're crazy times. So people are looking to sell or get rid of all kind of things that weren't on the table 2 weeks ago. So again, it's up to you to you know, because you're on Facebook anyway, go and look at your Facebook Marketplace and see who's selling and or giving away stuff that you may be able to take advantage of.
One of our students, a perfect example, one of our students, Michael, he bought a lot from a fellow reseller who was closing up their business. They just didn't want to resell anymore. I think he bought like 200 or 300 items from them.
Oh, really? That much?
Yeah, it was, and some of them were new with tags. And then he bought a mannequin and like a mannequin form from them for like $200. But he's already made, I think this is a sale out of that. He's made almost all of his money back already, and it's been less than a week, I think.
From Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, so that's a good example. Another is last minute auction. So going on eBay, if you've bought a mystery box from us, we've in the past sold some of our best inventory in mystery boxes, and we also included our sourcing cheat sheet where we have a list of brands and things that we look for when we're out for both men's and women's. So you could use that cheat sheet, or if you have brands that you like selling, you can set up a save search alert, look for auctions that are ending soon. And one of your favorite strategies, you've done this before, what's one of your favorite things about buying last minute auctions on eBay?
What do you mean?
That you can list it before you get it?
Oh yeah. So yeah, a lot of times
I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, it's okay. A lot of times I bid on something and won an auction or buy it now by just making an offer, and buy it, I pay for it, and even in the time while I'm waiting to receive the item, there's nothing stopping you from going ahead and relisting that item if you planned on reselling it or flipping it. Right. So a lot of times I'll have something listed before it's actually physically in my possession. Now, if I get it and something is different or unexpected or changed, well, obviously I'll either delete or take down or edit the listing, but it's just a really great way to play it. Along those same lines, there's a gift and a curse in this business, and I say this all the time jokingly. Any PG here, any person with a smartphone can get an online reselling account and be a reseller, right? So there's a lot of competition in one aspect, but there's also a lot of amateur hour going on. So there's so many opportunities as our business, our industry grows, that you guys can literally cherry pick like a sniper with a rifle. For sitting in your home, you can buy stuff all over the country that people have no idea what they're doing. They're just looking to get rid of something. They're not as savvy as we are here in Flipping Freedom, and especially those of you guys in 0 to 60. So you can literally sit and just snipe stuff. Why don't you show them one of the things that you just did? Perfect example. And again, this is all real world. So this just came in the mail yesterday because Hallie was on eBay and she's sniping items. So we're gonna. Oh, cut them.
How cute is this poly mailer, by the way? It's like
can you do
cactus. Yeah, I'll cut it carefully.
So this was in her watch items list for a while.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised. I guess I shouldn't be, because I got stuff that's been for sale too. But a lot of stuff I've been watching for a better part of a year, and it's still sitting there.
So this is what I ordered. This is for myself, but I got a great deal on it. $10 free shipping.
What is it?
Let me show you.
Guys, if you're still hanging out with us, let us know if you're enjoying this live. It's kind of special edition.
So I talked about this on how cute is this little reflective? So I talked about this on their Mountain Hardware Pants on our Q&A call this week, but it's not clean.
I'm gonna wash them anyway.
Yeah, which is why we don't wash our inventory before we send it out, because I'm gonna wash these anyway. So it was probably washed if they bought this at a thrift store.
Don't put stuff to your face.
Oh right. Sucking in my coronavirus. Pray for me. Totally lost my train of thought. Oh, so I bought this. I have the matching top to this. It's like in this print. And I bought the matching leggings at the time from the Columbia outlet store in Oregon. The leggings were defective and the threading started to come out. So I returned the leggings, but they didn't have my size when we went back to the store. They didn't have my size in stock anymore. And at the outlet, they're kind of already like the stuff. Well, no, it's the employee store. It wasn't the outlet. But it's not like always the most current stuff, and they have sometimes less selection. So they didn't have them there. So I had to look online. And then I found out that instead of just leggings, they also had matching shorts. And
this stuff isn't cheap. Like, we bought this at the employee store, but it's really good. I forgot how good the quality. I think they retail
for like $80.
Right. Like this, this is like Lululemon level of. This is really good stuff. So I can see why you had this. So the point is, what did you buy it for? What you just said they're $80. These look like they've never been worn or washed.
No. So, they're so cute. So they got the pockets, and then they have the little
lining.
Yeah, so they have the short lining inside them. So the pants are the shorts are loose, and then there's also like a zip pocket on the side. So yeah, really nice, high quality pants. So I bought them for $10 free shipping. They were on sale for $10 free shipping because I sent an offer. So I made an offer to the person.
Who was looking out for you though?
You were. He messaged me. He wakes up before me, so he messaged me while I was still in bed. Like, do you want to send an offer on these? They went on sale for like $20. And I sent a $10 offer, which normally as a reseller, you're always sending aggressive stuff, but I feel like kind of insulting because I'm like, if that was me, I'd be insulted. But I'm like, well, things are tight. Maybe they're not making sales. Maybe they're willing to make like a really good deal on them.
These have been on your watch list for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. I don't really buy off eBay all that much. Anyway, so I bought them. So I'm buying stuff that's kind of out of season because it's too cold to wear these right now. Too cold for me. I'm always cold. Too cold to wear these. But I bought them knowing that I'm going to be wearing them all summer with the matching little crop top.
Now, conversely, if it wasn't for Hallie, right? Mm-hmm. We know what Mountain Hardware stuff sells because we personally wear it. Like, it's kind of our unfair advantage, if you will. Mm-hmm. So if instead she was looking for herself, she could have easily been looking on her watch list or had them on her watch list to buy to resell, right? So $10 free shipping. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I could turn around right now and sell this same exact item. I could turn around and sell it the way we market our items online. I could sell it for somewhere between $25 and $30. Mm-hmm. No doubt in my mind. Yeah. Right? So again, those of you you can make some great deals for stuff for you and your family, but you can also cherry pick items that you want to flip with our cheat sheet and just your own be on the lookout type of item. So a great way to source right from sitting in your home. And you can do this all day long.
The other thing is, here are a couple wholesale sites. So if you haven't been taking...
Just touch your face.
Yeah. If you haven't been...
Is it as hard for you guys as it is for me to not touch your face when you go out? I never realized how much I touch my face, and it's like habitual until we go out now and we tell each other, all right, we're like in Costco or the supermarket. I'm like, okay, babe, don't touch your face until you get home.
The second we get out of the car, we're like, okay, we're in don't touch our face mode.
I'm anyway.
So if you haven't been taking notes,
people might be commenting all over the place.
Nothing, they're right there.
That's all of them?
Yes. Oh. Tell people that you want more comments.
I would like more comments.
So if you haven't been taking notes yet, I would get out a pen and paper. Here are a few wholesale websites that you can go to. One is bulk.com, bulq.com. Another one is bluelots.com. And then also govdeals.org. That's like government wholesale. So if you want to flip, non-clothing items, that would be somewhere you can go. You can also go to shopgoodwill.com. So local Goodwill has its own auction site similar to eBay. They run auctions nonstop from all around the country. So you can be sourcing from Goodwills even though Goodwill is closed. Sourcing those auctions. And again, you want to look for last minute ones, so things that are going to end within 24 hours that don't have a lot of bids, so you can get a smoking deal on them. Shopgoodwill.com. So those are 4 websites you can use. You can also, and the last one is ThreadUp rescue boxes. So ThreadUp has pretty strict requirements. I like the thumbs up, whoever that was. Thank you.
Thanks for the thumbs up.
Send a heart shower to us.
Smash the like button.
Oh. I detest all those YouTubers who say smash the like button. It bothers me so much. It's a pet peeve. So he gets a tickle out of it. So those are 5 sites. So the ThreadUp boxes, ThreadUp has pretty strict requirements for things that they accept. And the things that they don't accept or that haven't sold in a certain amount of time, hey, thank you, they'll put up in a box and basically wholesale it to you. Stuff that doesn't meet the criteria, and because they have strict requirements, you can get some pretty good stuff out of those boxes. So just to recap, bulk.com, bulq.com, bluelots.com, govdeals.org, shopgoodwill.com, and then the ThreadUp rescue boxes.
I don't think I was aware of some of these. So you just told me something new today. Thank you.
And then the last thing is Craigslist or Facebook. Some people still use Craigslist, so don't Don't hate on it.
I'm looking at a motorcycle trailer on Craigslist right now.
We sold our last motorcycle trailer on Craigslist.
You bought and sold it, and then I'm about to buy another one.
You flipped it too. What did you buy it for? Like $500?
600.
So you bought it for $600, and then after we moved, sold it for $950. I just saw the bill of sale for it. Anyway, so one of the things you can do is on Craigslist and on Facebook Marketplace, you can put up a looking for or ISO in search of wholesale lots of clothing. So however you want to word it, but you could put up a thing like looking to buy clothing in bulk, or looking to buy whatever it is that you want to flip right now, whatever opportunities you identify are selling right now. You can put up an ad, so you don't just have to look on Facebook Marketplace. You can also advertise that you're looking for it, and people will inbox you like, hey, I have, a lot of 100 whatever.
Can we do this today?
Yeah. So those are some of the ideas that we came up with for you guys, and then
your closet clear out challenge again. Perfect time, guys.
Yeah.
We're changing seasons, right? If the world doesn't end, we're going to make it out of winter. Actually, first day of spring was just this past week. So we're changing seasons. So I have a lot of stuff that I thought I might wear this past winter, didn't wear it, right? So now I'm like, okay, I need to get rid of this stuff and make room for some stuff I know I'm going to wear this spring and summer. Or now that I've kind of fallen back in love with my motorcycle and thing, I'm looking forward to some gear that I wouldn't mind some stuff hanging up in my closet to pay for, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Katie says, hey, I haven't enjoyed the tips. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, Katie. Appreciate it.
So here are some of the ways that we can support you in this time. We're going to be coming live more. We're going to do as much as we can in this free group, but obviously we have some paid offerings that you can take advantage of. So the first are like flagship course. I call it a program because it's more than a course. We've done real estate courses, we've done business courses online, and really when you buy a course, like you log in, you watch the videos, and that's pretty much it. Whereas with 0 to 60, we call it a program because there is that online, on-demand training, like a full built-out course. But it's really a community between the Facebook group, between the chat that's constantly going on. That's just how we heard about Michael's sale.
Congrats.
He just made what is that, $60 while we've been live. It's really a community, and then the Q&As that we do every week. There's so much that we put into it that it's a lot more than just a course. So we do have 0 to 60. Let me drop you guys the link to the promo that we have.
And 0 to 60, maybe you know, maybe you don't, but it's basically our journey of reselling, from going from zero, never having sold anything, reselling online, to getting to $60,000 a year part-time income in our first year, and kind of all of the things that we've learned in the 3 years total, and kind of in culmination in 6 modules. It kind of really helps you shorten your learning curve. It helps you learn not only all of the procedural things, but just a lot of strategies that we employ to this day that, again, allows us to, instead of selling something for $10 with free shipping, to allow us to sell something like this for $30 plus shipping. So again, just a lot of things that allow you to make money. I see a lot of our awesome and amazing students and members on this chat. And obviously the fact that they've heard our spiel for 6 modules and are still coming back, whether it's Brian or Amy or Jackie, it means a lot, A, but B, it should tell you guys who aren't yet a part of 0 to 60 that there's a lot of value, a lot of thinking and experience that went into it.
Yeah, I guess I have thought of it like that, but you just put it in a really good way. Like our students who paid for 0 to 60, not only do they show up every week on the Q&A call, which means that it's worth their time to show up, but they show up on these too. And I don't know, I really like that.
Yeah,
it means a lot to us that we give you guys a lot of value, whether you're in the free group or in our paid groups. So we're also adding some bonuses. We're going to do a tax strategy. Well, there's a replay for the pay, how to increase your pay. Even if you're still getting paid right now, you can increase your pay by adjusting your W-4, which can help a lot. And having this reselling business, it's going to be offset based on the tax deductions we're going to teach you how to take. So if you feel a little strapped and you still have a job and you're still getting paid, you can submit a revised W-4, and we walk you through how to do that.
An average person who works, their paycheck, their take-home pay goes up anywhere from $300 to I've seen as high as $1,200 a month with the exact same pay rate.
Right. So not asking for a raise, but getting a raise.
Yeah. Without begging the boss.
Especially right now in this time. So that's a bonus that we're doing we're calling it our Resellers Quarantine Promo. The second thing is your first 2K month. It's a case study that we did where we walked through the first 2K month that we had in our new store. We walked through every single sale. So we literally show you the back end, like this is what we sold, this is the story behind it, this is the mistake that we made, this was the damage that this item had, this is how much it sold for. And you can see all that right in the dashboard.
Super valuable.
So yeah, that's a 2-hour training. That's also included in a bonus. Then the first 5 people who enroll in 0 to 60, you're going to get a 90-day Resellers Quarantine strategy session where we're going to talk about more sourcing opportunities. So we gave you 5. We're going to do even more sourcing opportunities on the strategy call.
We talk, I'm not to cut you off, but we talk about stuff specific to you, right? So again, if you're like Amy and you're in Tampa Bay, Florida, there's some interesting things that you might be able to take advantage of that someone in Iowa may not, right? So we all have some really cool unfair advantages, some really cool opportunities that's not apparent or obvious or available to everyone. But again, part of us doing this for so long and doing it now, we've done this in 4 different parts of the country, 3 different parts of the country. So we can kind of help you specifically for your location, your situation. Maybe you don't have think you have access or time. So we can kind of help custom tailor your business plan to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then if you decide to pay in full, we're going to send you a lighting kit, which is super helpful, especially if you have your kids at home and you want to work after you put them to bed. A lighting kit is crucial, or if you're still working full time. And then you also get, for paying in full, 3 30-minute strategy sessions with us, but I'll be honest, they normally last longer than 30 minutes. We really try to, we're not trying to hold a gun to your head on time. We really want to make sure that you get value out of that. And then you're also going to get an eBay store review and audit. That's a $1,500 value if you pay in full. Which is
huge. So, because again, if you're one of those amateur resellers who have stuff like this in your store for $10 free shipping, again, it's really invaluable to have another set of eyes, experienced set of eyes to say, hey, listen, you're underpricing that, which we see a lot with new students and new resellers. You're underpricing that. Those pictures are trash. Try doing this description.
Your toes are in the picture. That's a big no-no.
Keep your toes out of the picture. We go through 5 major metrics that we utilize to see if a store is functioning at its best.
Right, at its full.
So yeah, I like that, and I'm sure you guys will love that part.
Yeah, so you can check out all the bonuses that we're offering. It's at flippinfreedom.com/0 TO260 hyphen or dash. Do you say dash or hyphen? Promo. 0 to 60 dash promo.
Dash.
Is that a dash?
It's a hyphen.
Hyphen. We'll say hyphen.
Don't say slash.
Not dash, not slash. Flippinfreedom.com 0. Wait.
How about you just type it in?
I did type it in. Flippinfreedom.com /0 to 60 hyphen promo. There's a link in the comments, so you don't have to.
Click the link. I'm old enough to remember when you used to have to type in a URL. Now everything you just click links.
Like uppercase, and then it would be like underscore and
and it's so crazy now. If something doesn't have a link, there's a good chance, even if I want to check it out, I ain't going to type it in. So I'm like, hopefully they hyperlink this thing.
Yeah, it's in the comments. The other ways we can support you is RUV Society. For any of these other offerings, you can just inbox me on Facebook, and or you can inbox our business page, whatever you're comfortable with. You can also email us at info@flippinfreedom.com. So any of those 3 ways, you'll get in contact with us. We have RUV Society. It's our monthly membership. It is not a full how-to training. It is more support. So you get access to the chat. You get access to the Q&A calls.
A lot of accountability.
Right, at a much lower price point.
Right, a lot of interaction with us and the other students. So you're kind of learning, and you're in a I feel like a much higher performing environment.
Yeah.
So there's an old saying, eagles fly with eagles. So if you have objectives to get your reselling business earning more money, you want to be around people who are doing that.
Yeah, so like support and accountability, not necessarily like trainings, tech, how-to type stuff.
Right.
That's what RUV Society is. There's a $1 trial you can take us up on. Again, inbox us for that. Inbox us if you want a one-off reselling store review. So these other things are, if you're not quite ready to commit to going all in with 0 to 60, these are 3 other options that we have for you. The RUV Society, it's a $1 trial. A reselling store review, where it's normally only a bonus that we offer for 0 to 60. But we will go through your store. We'll do that 5-point checkup on your store to make sure that you are fully optimized, especially right now going through this whole quarantine, social distancing, coronavirus, time. Like, who knows how long it's going to be. So you want to make sure your store is optimized to continue making sales. And then come like Monday, you can also purchase the Closet Clear Out Challenge with the full workbook, which is actually just right here. So yeah, it's like a full workbook going day to day, and then it has, these are just examples of the pages. It's a 3-day challenge that you can go through, so if you want more information on that, I can get that to you. It'll be available for purchase. We'll have like final pricing and stuff come Monday, but if you want to inbox me, I can get you access to that if you know that you're going to be going mainly with the clearing out your store. So those are some ways that we can support you through this time. I linked List Perfectly, our affiliate code with the coupon that you can use. 0 to 60 is a big one. RUV Society, a reselling store review, or the Closet Clear Out Challenge, a 3-day challenge to help you go through and list the clothes that you're not wearing or don't fit you anymore. So that's it for me.
Yep.
You want to say anything else?
Just in closing for me, I mean, again, hopefully you guys got something out of this. This is a little bit different, but we wanted to do something because, again, most of the world is kind of upside down the way we're used to doing business and living our lives. But just in closing, I want to say there's 2 types of people in the world. There's those people who life happens to, and then there's those people who basically life happens for. Thank you. So again, if you're the type of person, if you're the type of reseller who life happens for and not life happens to, again, you want to take advantage of it. So whatever it is that you want to accomplish from this business, don't be a bystander, right? Don't be there. Be in the driver's seat as much as you can. There's a lot out of our control. Obviously, we know that now more than ever, probably, but there's still a lot in your control. So,
and we're here to help you adapt as everyone is going through this in real time.
Right. So whether that means replacing some income that you may have lost because of having hours cut back of your job loss, whether that means maybe now that you've been home for a couple of days, you're like, you know what, I can get used to this. I don't mind not jumping out of bed and sitting in traffic for an hour a day. Like if there's things like that, that having a high producing reselling business can do for you, well then, we like to think we have something for you. Or if you're just dabbling and you're just kind of more of a casual reseller, that's no problem. Continue to participate and be a part of the Flip fam.
Yeah. So we'll leave this replay up, and it'll also go over on YouTube if you want to watch the replay.
YouTube, Flipping Freedom.
Yeah, I'll post the links. Look us up on YouTube, subscribe. We put up content over there too. So we'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your, weekend. If you're spending most of the time at home, you start to realize like a Saturday feels like Tuesday, feels like Thursday. It's like the Twilight Zone.
And if you're catching this replay, or if you happen to see this on YouTube, please feel free to drop a comment. If you're a troll type of person, God bless you. We're not experts. We don't claim to know it all. We're regular people. So try to be kind and leave stuff. If you're going to bother leaving something, make it productive, right? But we really appreciate you guys, your time, your attention, your energy. And we're in the fight with you for freedom, fulfillment, and happiness.
Bye,
this
guys.
is Jared and Howie signing out.